Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Before we head into our stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines.
UNP requests President to dismiss Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from all ministerial portfolios. North Central Provincial Council approves 20th Amendment to Constitution. President provides 45 million rupees to renovate Golden Canopy at Kandy Temple. Activists propose names that should be summoned to the Bond Commission. Morning ceremony at Khataragama Devalaya delayed due to ownership of key dispute. Deputy Chairman of the North Central Province from Joint Opposition pledges allegiance to President.
President Maithripala Sirisena has provided 45 million rupees for the renovation of the golden canopy of the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The funds were provided following a request made by the Mahanayakas of the Malwatu and Askari chapters of the Siam sect and the Dewana Nilume. President Maithripala Sirisena handed over the cheque in regard to MMP Hitisekara, the District Secretary of Kandy. The golden canopy over the main shrine of the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic was donated by late President R. Premadasa. The golden canopy was damaged in the 1988 bomb blast and was renovated back in 2001 and has been renovated again after 16 years. Deputy Chairman of the North Central Provincial Council, Jayanta Marasinghe, who represents the joint opposition, called on President Sirisena this morning and pledged his support. Marasinghe announced that another group is expected to join hands with the President in the near future. Recently, Tenuku Vidana Gamage, the Badula District MP, represented the joint opposition, pledged support to the President. His brother, Anra Vidana Gamage, who also pledged support to the President, was appointed as the overpromised Minister of Health and Indigenous Medicine, Probation, Childcare, Women's Affairs and Social Welfare.
Several top brass changes in the security forces took place today.
Former Navy Commander Admiral Ravindra Vijayagunaratne officially assumed duties as the new Chief of Defence Staff today. Thereafter, the new Chief of Defence Staff called on President Maithripala Sirisena. The 21st Navy Commander of the Sri Lankan Navy, Vice Admiral Travis Sinaya, officially assumed duties this morning. In a symbolic gesture of handing over command, the outgoing Commander of the Navy, Admiral Ravindra Vijayagunaratne, presented him the Admiral's sword at a function held at the Naval Headquarters. Vice Admiral Sinaya was accorded a Guard of Honour upon his arrival, having taken over command as the new Commander of the Navy, and was wished by the top brass at the Navy. The new Commander of the Sri Lankan Navy called on the President afterwards.
The United National Party has requested President Maithripala Sirisena to remove Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from all cabinet positions. The United National Party parliamentary group convened at Temple Trees last evening for a discussion. The Prime Minister attended the party leaders' meeting chaired by the President following the meeting at Temple Trees. UNP General Secretary Kabir Hashim announced today that following a working committee decision, the UNP leadership had informed the President to remove Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from all positions in Cabinet.
On the 17th of August, the working committee discussed the violation of collective decisions of Cabinet and the party by Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. The working committee reached a decision and proposed to rectify such statements. It proposed that Vijayadasa Rajapaksa have a discussion with the chairman of the party to rectify the matter. However, it did not take place. Over the weekend, he had once again made statements criticizing two cabinet ministers. Based on the decision taken by the working committee and the party leadership, I officially penned a letter to the President via Prime Minister that the working committee had decided to remove Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from all cabinet positions. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa did not attend today's cabinet meeting. If the party is making a decision, the responsibility of taking that decision belongs to them. It is only after they use a stance as a party that we can present our stance as a party. I believe all these matters would be examples and advisory for changes in the country's politics.
The comments are made on Vijayadasa Rajapaksa on other platforms as well.
There is an internal factor that comes to play in every single matter. This is an internal matter of the party that individuals represents, but there are behavioral patterns of individuals. I do not know the reason for this, and I will not intervene in the internal matters of that party. If there's an issue, there are avenues to follow to resolve them. It is the responsibility of those parties to follow those avenues of resolution. There are people like Vijayadasa Rajapaksa who stand firm inside the United National Party. This group in the UMP polarized to the south and betray the nation and not regret it. They would put people out, but the government must understand the patriotic people are waiting to accept them. Therefore, do not underestimate Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. We have received word that he has been fooled that he will be made the common candidate for 2020. It is clear from his statements. We can face the enemy on the outside. What if the enemy is disguised as a friend and is inside the house? The enemy's friend is with us. That is damaging. That is why we unanimously decided to remove him. We have been informed that if the Prime Minister makes a request, the President would enforce that request.
Political parties have made statements regarding the investigations taking place into the Treasury bond issue.
The Prime Minister should be made the first defendant in the bond scam. The central bank was under him. Arjun Mahendran was his friend and he was appointed to the top post. When the President wanted him removed, the Premier opposed and struggled to retain him. The Prime Minister did so even after the bond scam. Today he pretends to know nothing. His 40-year celebration was titled as Heta Dakina Ranil, but I believe when it comes to theft, he can see through the ground as well.
A presidential commission was appointed to prove the treasury bond scam. Ravi Karnanayaka was removed from his post as a result. The United National Party wants to stop it from Ravi Karnanayaka and Arjun Aloysius. If it continues, there will be a probe to locate who instructed to carry out the largest theft in the 2,500-year history of this country. After bringing down Arjuna Mahendran and appointing him to the topmost position at the key economic centre, they are attempting to prevent that from happening.
Malik Samaravikrama has not been summoned. Malik Samaravikrama, who was not even an MP, had attended the meeting. We request the Commission to summon Malik Samaravikrama. They must summon him. There's a question as to how he attended that meeting. They cannot put the whole blame on Ravi Karunanayaka and show that Ravi Karunanayaka is involved in the central bank. Who is below that? Who took the money? Where did the money move to? We have spoken on this every day. Who has committed the wrong? We believe that Malik Samaravikrama must be taken before the Commission.
The Speaker informed Parliament today that the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Act is in accordance with the Constitution of the country.
The Supreme Court has informed that the petitioner who filed a petition against the draft bill of the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Act no longer intends to continue judicial proceedings. I would like to inform the House that the Supreme Court has further informed that the draft bill is not in accordance with the guidelines of the Supreme Court. However, it is in accordance with the guidelines of the Constitution pertaining to the fair and equal rights as mentioned in 12/4.
The 20th Constitutional Amendment Draft Bill, which will allow all local government elections to be held on the same day, received the approval of the North Central Provincial Council today. When the North Central Provincial Council convened this morning, the draft of the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was presented to it for approval. The members of the joint opposition representing the UPFA opposed the draft. They informed the Council they had asked for time to further study the 20th Constitutional Amendment and that time was not granted. A vote was held and 15 votes were cast in favour of the bill while 13 were cast against. Thereby the 20th Constitutional Amendment Draft Bill was passed by 2 votes at the North Central Provincial Council. Our correspondent stated that the councillor representing the JVP was not in the chamber while the voting took place.
The ruling party informed Parliament today that the draft of the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Act will be taken up for debate day after tomorrow.
This means the amendments have been presented to us. The amendments were taking place. They had no connection to what was being discussed. Do you know what needs to be done initially? All these amendments which have been presented need to be recalled. They have no relevance.
කිසිසේත්ම සම්බන්ධ නැති ඒවා.
නෑ කොහොමදත් පනතක් ගෙනාවාම මේ කාර්ක සභාව අවස්ථාවේදී සංශෝධන කියන්න පුළුවන්.
නෑ මේක පනතම නෙමෙයි මේක සංශෝධනම තමයි කියන්නේ. හැබැයි ඔබතුමා දැන් කිව්වාම හෙට ඡන්දෙට පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නකෝ.
නෑ ඔය ඒක අවස්ථාවක්
කියන්නකෝ.
හැමදාම මොකද්ද මේ කල් දාන්න හදන්නේ මේ.
නෑ අපි
ප්‍රශ්න අහනකම්.
හැමදාම
ඔබතුමා දැන්
අහන එක කියන්න. ගරු කතානායකතුමනි. කතානායකතුමනි අපිත් එකඟයි මේ පළාත් පාලන සංශෝධන.
We are in agreement. Pass the local government amendments and hold the election fast. If the amendments are being approved the day after tomorrow, we do not have the amendments with us.
ගරු නානාකාර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා
මේකට මේ ඡන්ද කල් දාන්න හදන්න එපා.
යා කුණාප කතා කරන්න අනබල්
නීති පුතුතුමා
තමුන්නාසලා තමයි ඔය කොමිටි වෙලාවට සංශෝධන වගේක් ගෙල්ල මේක අවුල් කරන්න
අපි සියලු දෙනාටම ඕනේ මේ ඡන්දේ පවත්වන්න. ඒකට අපිට එක එක තැන් වල තියෙන ශක්තිය මොකක්ද කියලා බලමු.
කලින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු සංශෝධන තියෙනවද? දැන් ඇති වෙලා තියෙන තත්ත්වය තමයි කලින් ඉදිරිපත් කළ ලද සංශෝධන හා මේ එකඟතාවයට එන ලද සංශෝධන අතර ගැටුමක් තියෙනවා.
ඒ අපි කතා කරලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙන ඉවත් කරනවා. ඒක අපි හෙට අනිද්දා උදේ කතා කරමු.
The March 12th movement made a request from all the parliamentarians today.
මේ පනත් කෙටුම්පත දෙවෙනි වර කියවීම
The second reading of the draft bill has been scheduled for the 24th. There is the risk of this being delayed further if amendments that do not receive the consent of political parties are submitted. Do not bring in amendments that would further hinder the people's right to vote. Do not bring in amendments that would further delay this. We would like to reiterate this point.
Minister of Irrigation and Water Management Vijit Vijay Munisoiza convened a media briefing at his ministry today. He responded to the statement made by the former president saying that he is the chairman of the SLFP.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa handed over power to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at 4 in the morning. The power was handed over and then he arrived at the cabinet ministers' meeting. I went to the presidential secretariat as well. He told us that he was defeated and that he was going. A few days later, Basil Rajapaksa left for America as American citizen. As Central Working Committee members of the party, Mahinda Rajapaksa amended the 12th Amendment of the party constitution to grab the chairmanship of the party from another president, Chandrika Bandaranaike. It says clearly in the constitution that if a member of the party or a constituent party in alliance with the SLFP becomes the executive president of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, that person becomes of the ex-official chairmanship of the party. As per the amendment that he did, President Maithripala Sirisena became the chairman of the party. That is when we went with the majority of members of the working committee and asked him to become the chairman of the party. Mahinda Rajapaksa is aware of all this information. Now he has forgotten it. I do not know why he has forgotten. There is a tendency for him to forget, as if he was ashamed. I don't know whether it was offered to him or whether it was robbed. But we know that he handed this party over at the Speaker's official residence.
Dr. Harsha De Silva informed Parliament that he received the investigation report on wrong information being provided by the ICTA regarding the National Payment Platform.
Yesterday, questions were raised in Parliament about a venture of the ICTA. On that day, Deputy Minister Harsha De Silva responded to the questions. However, that very night he tells the Sirosa media that ICTA has given him wrong information. Therefore, the Deputy Minister Harsha De Silva placed wrong information before Parliament.
Provide an explanation on this tomorrow. He is referring to the issue on ICTA. You had later commented that you have been misled. He is seeking a clarification.
At that time, I spoke to the chairman of ICTA and instructed to immediately suspend all actions of the matter and carry out an investigation. Therefore, to inform me, the Prime Minister, the respective minister and the Central Bank. We received the response last evening.
However, we need the proper response made in Parliament.
Yesterday, we received the investigation report. I will respond during the next parliamentary session.
The Ministry of Higher Education and Highways presented a supplementary estimate for 53 billion rupees to Parliament today.
This supplementary estimate has been presented for 6 projects that are being carried out successfully. Additional funds are sought as the allocation made by the budget are not sufficient. Therefore, an additional 53 billion rupees is sought for the expansion of the Southern Expressway, the Outer Circular Highway, Priority Road Project 3, Integrated Road Investment Program and the second New Kalni Bridge project. Of this amount, 51.5 billion rupees will be obtained via loans from the Chinese government, the Japanese government and the Asian Development Bank. There will be no local fundraising requirement. However, the Treasury will have to bear around 2.5 billion rupees.
An issue surrounding a particular key forced the cancellation of the early morning Theva ceremony at the Kataragama Mahadevalaya today. This caused severe inconvenience to the devotees.
The custodian of the key to the Devalaya is the person in charge of conducting rituals. However, at around 4 this morning, the bus Nayaka Nilame had visited the Devalaya premises and taken away the key. As a result of this, it was unable to open the doors to the Devalaya and the early morning rituals were not performed.
We came here for the ceremony at 4:30 a.m. We are a group of 50 from Anuradhapura. When we were here with offerings, the gates were opened at 4:40 and we were taken in. When we went in, there were people fighting with poles. Thereafter, we were put out. They must resolve their issues without causing a burden to the devotees.
I opened the gates at 4:30 for the cleaning crew to come in. Thereafter, the group with the Nilame came in and grabbed the key. They had poles and pistols with them. They stormed in armed.
The Basnayaka Nilame, his son and associates stormed into the premises with pistols, guns and poles and grabbed the key. He has no right to matters in the Devalaya. The custodians have claim to the key. The devotees were inconvenienced. They were pleading to conduct a ceremony. How can we open the door? Who will be held responsible if anything happens?
I visited the main Devalaya this morning. When I went there today, there were several people. I asked them to open the door, but there was no key. They later brought the key. Then a person called Lal and another yelled at us, asking what right we have to open the door. Then I came home. Then I asked them to open the doors for the people, but they did not allow that. They closed the doors to the Mahadevalaya.
Up next is Action TV.
The Samindugama village in Iranavilla is home to 35 families which depend on the fishing industry. It was constructed in 1997 by the then Minister of Fisheries. The village is situated on a land owned by the Land Reclamation Commission and is located between the ocean and the lagoon.
This is the water that we use. We use this water to bathe and wash our children. We use this water to wash our clothes and clean the rice as well.
Several families depend on the fishing industry adjacent to the Nigambo lagoon. However, control of the lagoon has been taken over by 20 prawn farmers and among them is a relative of a parliamentarian. It was revealed that the Divisional Secretariat of Mahavavar also takes decisions based on the needs of the parliamentarian's relative. This was confirmed when the people of the Samindugama village met her about a month and a half ago to discuss their drinking water issue. The natural waterways that carried rainwater from land to the lagoon and from the lagoon finally to the ocean have been changed based on the requirements of the prawn farmers. The villagers claim that this has resulted in the well water in the village being contaminated. However, the Divisional Secretary demands proof of this claim. Although permission has been granted to obtain water from the lagoon to the prawn farmers, a condition states that once the harvest is obtained, the water must be released back to the lagoon. However, the prawn farmers have failed to comply with this condition and have illegally constructed this waterway across the Samindugama village to release the water to the ocean. In addition, the prawn farmers have also closed up the only waterway that carries water from land to the lagoon.
This is the route for the tide. This is a form of revenge. They turned a blind eye to the issues faced by the people living here. Divisional Secretary had only looked into the requirements of the minority farmers.
In addition to causing disturbances to 135 families, a certain group has also been destroying the mangroves in the area. Shouldn't there be a probe to ascertain what exactly the Divisional Secretary of Mahavavar did in exercising her duties? District Secretary of Putlam, this is over to you. Newsfirst launched the island-wide campaign Sri Lanka Against Corruption to inform and speak to the public about the rampant corruption in various areas of public life, including politics. Speaking to the Newsfirst teams today, the general public in 2 districts expressed their dissatisfaction over the delay in enacting the law against the corrupt.
They should be banned and be punished through the law. The country will develop if an educated lot is brought in. Corruption takes place every day.
The Newsfirst teams visited the Badulla and Kandy districts today. One team commenced their journey from Katukastota and covered the Ambatana and Godakawata areas as well.
Nothing happens right. Extortion is everywhere. Nothing good has happened to the common man. We like this government because they said they will nab the thieves. They are not catching the thieves nor the murderers. They disappoint us all the time.
The second Newsfirst team visited the people residing in the Badulla district.
Whoever is engaged in corruption, it is corruption indeed. Be it the bond scam or any other corrupt activity, the person who did it is corrupt. The corrupt should be punished. We can see clearly the corruption that happens. Even though money is spent, the results are minimal. They spend money to build roads and provide electricity. Only 10 or 15% of these become a reality.
Something must be done where they will not be able to contest elections again.
Let's now take a look at some views that have been expressed over the present situation of cricket in the country.
What happened first? When the situation arose, they got rid of the leaders. They got rid of the coaches. That wasn't successful. After that, what did they do? They got rid of the managers. After that, what should be done? They need to go higher. After that, it's the chairman of the cricket governing body. He should be sacked. If that is not successful, then they must go up to the Minister of Sports. He should be sacked. The chief coach named Simon is working for a salary of $12,000. He has only appeared in 12 first-class matches. We do not know how these people are appointed to these positions. Those responsible for this should now take serious decisions.
මේකට වගකීම් දැන් තීන්දුව తీරන ගන්න ඕන. අර පෞගේ කාලේ අපේ ක්‍රීඩකයෙක් කිව්වනේ රිලව් බෙනේ ගිරව් ගහේද මොකද්ද කියලා. අද මේ රිලවුන්ටයි ගිරවුන්ටයි මුලින් මේ බෙනේ හදන්න දායක වුණා ගැන අමතක වෙලා තියෙනවා. නිසා මට බෑ ගිහිල්ලා ක්‍රිකට්
I cannot go to the middle of the pitch and play cricket. Then Dasri Jasera should step down. Tilanga Sumudipala doesn't go to the middle of the pitch and play cricket. We provide support. We provide strength. We give leadership for the cricket team to play with strength. Countries in the world have collapsed. Therefore, it is no point in just making a noise. We must plan out an effective strategy. We will take a decision in a few days. I plan on calling on those people who have been voicing their opinions and ideas over the TV, radio and other forms of media and asking them about what they propose the plan should be.
And that's the wrap of this edition of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Azra Hassan.
And I'm Shayan Silva. Take care and good night.